I was beaten to death with a brick. The last thing I saw before I died was the goddess Su Qingqing and her family of 18 surrounding me, dividing up the 2 loaves of bread I had struggled so hard to find. Just this little bit of food. You want us to starve to death? Trash. You might as well go die. I collapsed to the ground, blood flowing everywhere. I just couldn't understand it. In that dog-eat-dog apocalypse, finding 2 loaves of bread had already cost me my life. Why was my mother-in-law still unhappy with it? And why did she even go straight for the kill? Hadn't I done enough by taking care of their whole family? No, these aren't 18 people. These are 18 beasts. Ring, ring, ring. A phone suddenly started ringing by my ear, and I snapped my eyes open. What came into view was the familiar ceiling, a comfortable temperature wrapping around my whole body, the air conditioner displaying 26 degrees Celsius. This is my room. Didn't I die? Because he had been too engrossed. He had played straight until 3 a.m. yesterday. So Fong Luo slept all the way until 7 p.m. before waking up. Mainly because the temperature in the cold storage was also extremely comfortable. After his adjustments, the indoor temperature had stayed around 18 to 20 degrees Celsius, the most comfortable temperature for the human body. If it weren't for being hungry and for the virus breaking out again today, meaning he needed to go look for evolution virus, he wouldn't have wanted to wake up at all. Isn't a bed wide enough for 10 people comfortable? It's just a pity that the bed felt a bit empty, like something was missing. Stretching lazily, Fong Luo got out of bed and cooked himself a bowl of abalone and sea cucumber porridge. Eating something too greasy on an empty stomach wasn't good, so Fong Luo put the steak and the like aside. Although his cooking skills were average, the ingredients were premium, so what Fong Luo made was still delicious. At some point, he ought to find a top chef to cook exclusively for him. While eating his porridge, Fong Luo took out his phone. Su Qingqing had already stopped sending him messages, with the last one staying at 10 p.m. last night. She's probably already dead by now. That was Southeast Asia, after all, with temperatures exceeding 70 degrees Celsius, and she had no money there. Fong Luo only felt a surge of pleasure. He took a look at today's news. The temperature in Luo City had remained steady at 65 degrees Celsius. In just 5 days, the water level of Luo City Reservoir had evaporated down by more than 50 meters. Some small lakes had already completely dried up. According to statistics from the Waterworks Company, Luo City had consumed a total of 100 million tons of water in these 3 days, with average daily water usage more than 10 times the usual amount. And that didn't even include what had evaporated. The price of tap water had now risen from about 3 per ton before to 3,000 per ton, a full 1,000-fold increase. The key point was that the water source for the waterworks was no longer enough to supply the entire city. Some areas had already begun having their water cut off, with supply limited only to areas within the city's second ring road and some wealthy districts. Demand far exceeded supply. Even with money, you couldn't buy it. And under the persistent high temperatures, fires had broken out in many places, causing more than half the city to begin losing power. Even air conditioners, the only source of cooling, had become useless. More than 80% of the elderly hadn't made it through. Some younger people in poorer health had also died from lack of water. According to news statistics, the number of deaths in Luo City hospitals alone had already exceeded several 100,000. And that didn't even include people who may have died at home or on the streets. Added together, it might exceed 1 million. And this was only the 5th day. The zombies hadn't even broken out yet. Right now, the streets were in complete chaos. People who had originally been staying safely and comfortably at home could no longer resist braving the extreme heat to come out in search of food and water. The city's crime rate suddenly soared by 350. Robberies and fights were happening on every street. The police officers and firefighters on duty were far too overwhelmed to handle it all. Fong Luo's cold storage had also lost power. Fortunately, Fong Luo had a generator and fuel, so he could generate electricity himself. The temperature in the cold storage hadn't risen and was still very comfortable. Fong Luo sighed inwardly. In his previous life, he had been just like them, hot as a dog, fighting others to the death over a mouthful of water. Fortunately, in this life he had prepared supplies in advance. He also built a cold storage, so he no longer had to lose his life over a piece of bread. However, his fuel was limited, so he couldn't keep using the generator forever. He still needed to think of other solutions. Fong Luo glanced at the soundly sleeping Dianmo. Let you rest for 2 days first. When the time comes, obediently work for me. After finishing the abalone and sea cucumber porridge, the time came to 8 p.m. Fong Luo estimated that there were less than 2.5 hours left before the zombie outbreak in his previous life. Driving to the destination himself would probably take about 1 hour. Factoring in possible errors along the way, If Fong Luo left now, he would arrive just in time to catch the first batch of virus. Landing on Blue Star, taking the map, and putting on protective gear, Fong Luo prepared to go out. Knock, knock, knock. However, just as Fong Luo was about to leave, the cold storage door was suddenly knocked on. He frowned and walked over, looking outside through the specially made window. He saw several men holding tools, banging on his door. "Brother Wang, are you sure there are supplies in here?" A man's voice asked. Immediately after, a somewhat rough man's voice said, "Of course. I delivered goods here a few days ago. Mineral water worth tens of millions. If we take over this place, we won't have to worry about water for years." And at the time, I observed carefully that this cold storage uses top-of-the-line refrigeration equipment. The temperature inside definitely won't exceed 30 degrees Celsius. Damn, 30 degrees Celsius? Wouldn't that be cool as hell? Then what are we waiting for? Hurry up and pry it open. At the entrance of the cold storage, greedy and thirsty expressions appeared on the faces of the several men, each holding hammers and crowbars, striking the cold storage door forcefully again and again. The thudding sounds were endless. Fong Luo's eyes turned icy cold. He recognized one of the men, named Wang Dazhuang, a truck driver. Back then, when Fong Luo bought 10 million worth of mineral water, it was he who brought people to deliver the goods to Fong Luo. Originally, when purchasing the mineral water, the manufacturer had said unloading would be free. But after Wang Dazhuang delivered it, he took advantage of the situation and cheated Fong Luo out of 10,000 yuan in unloading fees. Unexpectedly, now he had set his sights on Fong Luo's cold storage again. Knock, knock, knock. The few of them were still smashing the cold storage door with all their might. However, the cold storage door did not budge at all, while they were each panting with their tongues out, tired as dogs. Overestimating yourselves. Fong Luo snorted coldly. He had spent 5 million to hire a professional security company to reinforce this cold storage. Even with the hammers in their hands, even if they hammered for a year, they still wouldn't be able to damage the cold storage in the slightest. Fong Luo wasn't worried at all that they would break in. It's just that Fong Luo had originally planned to go out. Now these people were blocking the door, and if he went out, he would definitely run into them, and a violent clash would be unavoidable. Should he wait for them to leave on their own? But how did he have that much time to wait for them? "What do you want?" Fong Luo deliberately shouted, making it known that someone was inside, hoping to scare them away. Ordinary thieves would panic and run when they encountered someone. "There's someone inside. Run." The people outside were also startled. They hadn't expected someone to be in the cold storage, and a few timid ones immediately wanted to retreat. However, Wang Dazhuang was not very willing to give up. "Boss Fong, is that you?" Wang Dazhuang thought for a moment, licked his cracked lips, and asked, "Boss Fong, do you remember me? I'm old Wang, the one who delivered water to you before." "Boss Fong." Wang Dazhuang put on a pitiful look and said weakly, "It's so hot outside, and the water's been cut off at home. The few of us are about to die of thirst. What's that got to do with me?" Fong Luo's tone was cold. Wang Dazhuang choked. He clearly hadn't expected Fong Luo to be so cold. But thinking about it, it made sense. If he was about to die of thirst, what did that have to do with Fong Luo? Fong Luo wasn't his father. He had even cheated him out of money before. It would already be good enough if Fong Luo didn't take revenge on him. "Boss Fong, didn't you buy so much water before? Could you give us some?" Wang Dazhuang still asked unwillingly. He was really too thirsty, feeling as if his throat was stuffed with shit, and devilishly spicy shit at that, the pain making his voice turn hoarse. "My water? Why should I give it to you?" Fong Luo found it somewhat amusing. How did he even have the nerve to ask him for water? "Then we'll buy it. You bought your water for 50 cents a bottle, right? How about this? We'll pay 2 yuan, and you sell us some. As long as you sell it to me, I won't charge you unloading fees anymore." 2 yuan? Hearing the other party's words, Fong Luo couldn't help but let out a loud sneer. The retail price of a bottle of mineral water is indeed 2 yuan. But this is the apocalypse now. Even tap water has gone from 3 yuan to 3,000 yuan a ton. And even then, it's unavailable no matter the price. Much less mineral water. For this tiny 500 milliliters bottle of water, people would still scramble to buy it even at 100 yuan. And he wants to buy it for 2 yuan. What a ridiculous fantasy, treating him like an idiot. As for unloading fees, he'd already cheated him once before, so there was even less chance of selling him water. Not selling. Get lost, and don't die at my doorstep. Fong Luo drove them away without the slightest courtesy. Wang Dazhuang froze, not expecting Fong Luo to show him so little respect. He was already parched from the heat, and now his face turned dark purple with anger. He shouted angrily, "Boss Fong, do you have even a shred of compassion? We're all about to die of thirst. We're only asking for a few bottles of water. Is it really necessary for you to curse us to die? Yeah. Do you have even a little compassion at all? Did a dog eat your conscience? You clearly have so much water, giving us a little wouldn't affect you at all. I've never seen anyone so stingy. The few people behind him also began condemning Fong Luo. They said he had no compassion, that he was leaving people to die. Their mouths were full of moral platitudes, yet they completely forgot that just a few minutes ago, they had been smashing Fong Luo's front door with hammers. And just a few days earlier, they had deliberately cheated Fong Luo out of money. I'll say it one more time. Die wherever you want, just don't die at my doorstep. Fong Luo refused to accept their moral blackmail in the slightest. As long as he had no morals, they couldn't blackmail him with morality. In that case, don't blame us for not being polite. Wang Dazhuang's expression also turned vicious. Not polite how? Fong Luo's tone was teasing. Boss Fong, your door may be sturdy, but it's not indestructible, is it? Wang Dazhuang said in a sinister tone. There are 5 of us, with so many tools in our hands. A mere iron door can't stop us. You're all alone. Once the door is broken open, Wang Dazhuang wore a ferocious expression. Brothers, smash it for me. With that, the few of them once again picked up hammers and crowbars and began violently smashing the cold storage door. Before, they had only been thinking about stealing. Now, seeing that Fong Luo was outnumbered and alone, they had already decided to rob him by force. They had checked long ago, there was no one else around. So even if they killed Fong Luo, no one would know. You don't know what's good for you. Seeing that Wang Dazhuang had no intention of leaving and was pounding the door even harder, killing intent also rose in Fong Luo's heart. Originally, he had only wanted to drive them away. Fong Luo was not a bloodthirsty person, nor was he cold-blooded enough to casually disregard other people's lives. But now the other side clearly wanted to kill him. So how could Fong Luo possibly sit still and wait for death? If others do not offend me, I will not offend them. But if anyone offends me, I will kill them. Fong Luo's eyes turned icy. He silently opened the black hole space and took out the weapons he had purchased in Southeast Asia from inside. Then called out to the people outside the door, "Stop banging. I'll open the door. Come in, and I'll give you. At least you know what's good for you." Wang Dazhuang snorted coldly, while inwardly letting out a sigh of relief, and quickly put down the hammer in his hand. It was 65 degrees Celsius high heat outside. He was already so thirsty he had little strength left, and just now he had been swinging such a heavy hammer. Several people nearby had already collapsed to the ground from exhaustion. If another 2 minutes had passed, even he was planning to give up. Luckily, this kid had been intimidated by his overwhelming aura. Wang Dazhuang smugly stepped back half a step, then fixed his eyes firmly on the cold storage door. With only a creak, the cold storage door slowly opened, and immediately after, an incomparably cool gust of air came wafting out from the cold storage. Wang Dazhuang immediately shivered from the cold, and the hair on his body stood on end. He had just been enduring the 65 degrees Celsius heat, and now he was being blown by a cool breeze of less than 20 degrees Celsius. Beside him, the few people who had just collapsed from the heat now all had looks of satisfaction on their faces. They simply couldn't believe there was still such a cool place in the world. Compared with the outside, this place was completely like heaven and hell. This is way too cool, isn't it? It feels like the temperature isn't even 20 degrees Celsius. Damn, this kid has been staying in such a comfortable environment the whole time. He's too lucky. Get in, we need to get in. Stop pushing, let me go in first. I was the one who smashed the most just now. The few of them scrambled and crawled, rushing into the cold storage in a mad dash. Even though they stumbled several times, they couldn't hide the greed on their faces. They wanted to occupy this place. They wanted to seize all the supplies inside. They wanted to live here forever. As for the real owner of the cold storage, he could go die far away. However, after they crawled into the cold storage, the first thing they saw was a pair of size 44 boots. When they looked up, they discovered a pitch-black gun barrel pointed right at them. Everyone instantly shuddered with fear. Wang Dazhuang was also greedily rushing inside, enjoying the comfortable cold air, when he was suddenly tripped by the few people who had stopped in front, and he fell hard, even getting a nosebleed. Damn it, why did you stop? Get in there. Wang Dazhuang cursed angrily, but his few companions didn't move at all, each of them staring ahead in shock. He also looked over in confusion. There stood a tall, handsome young man, dressed in a green combat uniform, holding a weapon with a peachwood-colored stock in his hands. He had seen this thing on TV. It seemed to be called an AK-47? Holy shit. Wang Dazhuang was full of disbelief. Why would this kind of weapon that only appeared on TV be in Fong Luo's hands? One had to know, this was Yin Nation. Getting hold of this thing was far harder than earning a million. After a moment of shock, he quickly calmed down. Fake. It had to be fake. Humph. Rat, you think you can scare me with a toy gun? Wang Dazhuang looked at Feng Luo with a cold sneer. Then he kicked the few dumbfounded companions again. Are you idiots? This is Yin Nation. How could he possibly have a real gun? Only then did the few of them react. Right? Guns are banned in Yin Nation. Ordinary people would never touch one in their whole lives. So how could this kid have one? This toy gun is damn realistic. I almost took it for real. Smiles reappeared on the faces of the few of them. They spread their arms and felt the comfortable temperature of the cold storage. Then saw the fully furnished surroundings, and their eyes burned with desire. Damn, I've seen this sofa on TV before. It seems to cost more than 800,000. And this TV, it's 100 inches, and there's even the latest PS5. More than that, there's red wine over there too, probably tens of thousands a bottle. Bloody hell, while we were outside sweating like dogs. This kid was actually lying on a genuine leather sofa, watching a 100-inch TV, and drinking red wine that costs tens of thousands per bottle. Damn, is he here on vacation or what? This whole setup must cost at least several million. This is simply heaven. If there were a few pretty girls serving me too, I'd be willing to die right here on the spot. What are we waiting for? First break this kid's legs, then throw him out. The bastard was so arrogant just now. Wang Dazhuang was also greedily sizing up the surroundings, then looked at Feng Luo with a cold sneer. Yeah, damn it. He blocked us for so long just now and made me roast like a dog. Just watch how I deal with you. Hearing this, the others immediately closed in on Feng Luo with ferocious looks. Feng Luo silently watched these people, his eyes showing not the slightest fear, only resolute killing intent. A bald man was the first to advance on Feng Luo with a crowbar in hand. Just as he was about to smash it viciously onto Feng Luo's thigh, suddenly, a bang echoed throughout the entire cold storage. On the sofa, Dianmu, who had been lazily sleeping, was so startled that she jumped 3 meters into the air. Meow? She looked over curiously, only to see that a man's originally round head was now missing a large chunk, like a smashed watermelon. On the ground, crimson and milky fluids were splattered everywhere. Dianmu was dumbfounded, her jaw practically dropping. Her master was way too ruthless. Compared to him, she was practically a nobody. Looks like she'd better behave herself from now on. Meow, Wang Dazhuang, and the others were also staring at the scene in shock. Their bodies frozen like ice sculptures, completely motionless. Their pupils contracted to pinpoints, every one of them terrified beyond measure. After a moment, one man could no longer hold it in and threw up with a retch. However, there was nothing in his stomach, so he could only keep dry heaving, his expression full of agony. The gun was actually real. Wang Dazhuang's legs went weak and he collapsed to the ground. Humph. Feng Luo snorted coldly and aimed the muzzle at Wang Dazhuang. Don't kill me, don't kill me. Faced with the dark gun barrel, Wang Dazhuang was instantly scared out of his wits and immediately dropped to his knees and started wailing, his head banging against the ground over and over. Before long, his forehead was a bloody mess. In the face of life and death, what did dignity amount to? Weren't you just saying you were going to break my legs? Feng Luo looked at Wang Dazhuang, who was kowtowing like a pecking chicken, his gaze utterly cold. I was wrong, don't kill me. Wang Dazhuang was streaming with snot and tears. Usually, he only bullied the weak and feared the strong, picking on honest people at most. Feng Luo had seemed honest and compliant, like a little lamb. Who would have thought that Feng Luo was actually a demon who killed without batting an eye? He now regretted it beyond words. If he had known it would turn out like this, he wouldn't have dared to cheat Feng Luo no matter what, much less come to rob Feng Luo's cold storage. Don't kill me. I still have a wife and daughter. Don't try to tempt me with mother and daughter. I won't be able to resist. Feng Luo coldly pulled the trigger. 9 p.m. Power had already gone out across most of the city. The streetlights on the roads no longer shone. Only a towering armored vehicle, shaped like a beast, cast its cold white headlights to barely guide Feng Luo's way. Meow? A cat's cry came out, and Feng Luo glanced at Dianmu beside him. She had her tongue hanging out and was panting nonstop. She was obviously unbearably hot. The temperature outside was simply too high, 65 degrees Celsius. Even Feng Luo was now drenched in sweat. Compared with the environment in the cold storage, it was like heaven and earth. If not for searching for the evolution virus, he really wouldn't want to come out. Fortunately, Feng Luo had previously stored quite a bit of ice water. Otherwise, even he would be having a hard time enduring it. He took 2 bottles of water out of his space, gulped down a mouthful himself, and open one for Dianmu as well. Meow? Dianmu cried out, expressing her thanks to Fong Luo. Fong Luo then looked at the scene outside the window. On the street, there were quite a few people searching for supplies. Almost all of them nearly naked, their faces full of misery. Some people, upon seeing Fong Luo's vehicle, all crowded around. When they saw the bottled water Dianmu was drinking in Fong Luo's car, every one of them revealed thirsty, desperate expressions. Water, there's water. A bedraggled man stared fervently at Fong Luo's half bottle of ice water, his palm constantly slapping the window. Water, give me water. Fong Luo ignored him. The other party continued to beg. Please, give me water. I'll give you my wife and my daughter too. They're very beautiful. Please, I'm begging you. There were also quite a few women who took the initiative to abandon their husbands, saying that as long as Fong Luo gave them water to drink, they could agree to any of Fong Luo's demands. As long as you give me water, I can be your little kitten too. Among them were quite a few exceptionally beautiful women. There was even a somewhat famous internet celebrity. Fong Luo had watched her live stream before. She looked quite pure and innocent. He didn't expect her to say such shameless words. This was the apocalypse. He kept driving. By 10 o'clock, Fong Luo arrived at the area where the virus had infected people in his previous life. This was a residential complex in the 3rd district. However, the power here had already gone out too, and the place looked bleak and desolate. After stopping the car, Fong Luo carefully watched the sky, waiting for the virus to descend. He remembered that in his previous life, the zombie virus had broken out at around 10:30 p.m. Fong Luo leaned against the car, staring at the sky without blinking, afraid of missing any detail. But even though it was night now, the air temperature was still as high as 60 degrees Celsius. In just a moment, his mouth and tongue went dry. Beside him, Dianmu was also howling from the heat. She had just tried to get out of the car with Fong Luo, but the moment her paw pads touched the ground, she jerked them back from the heat. Stay in the car obediently, or you'll be roasted. Fong Luo grabbed Dianmu by the scruff of her neck and tossed her straight into the car, then gave her a bottle of ice water and a can of cat food. He also took out a bottle of iced cola for himself and gulped it down. He immediately felt much more refreshed. Suddenly, Fong Luo's expression froze, his eyes fixed firmly on the sky. A glowing object was slowly falling. The evolution virus. Fong Luo reacted at once, his face instantly lighting up with joy. After estimating where it would land, he took off running after it. Very soon, Fong Luo successfully got the evolution virus. It was an irregular crystal about the size of a peanut, completely transparent and emitting a purple glow. It didn't seem quite the same as the one he had found in his previous life. Fong Luo examined it carefully. He remembered that the one he had found in his previous life wasn't purple, but white. Could it be that there was more than one evolution virus here? That was indeed possible. When Fong Luo found the evolution crystal back then, it was roughly the 10th day of the apocalypse. By that time, most evolution crystals had already been obtained by others in advance. He had only managed to find one with great difficulty. But in this life, he had come to look for it at the very first opportunity, and no one else had discovered this yet. Great! Fong Luo grew even more excited. This meant he could find more crystals. He immediately chose to use it. Fong Luo let out a painful muffled groan, and sweat immediately beaded on his forehead. The process of using the evolution virus was extremely painful because it forcibly transformed the host's body. During the transformation process, if the host body could not withstand it, and the immense power, there was a high chance of exploding and dying. Among 10 ordinary people, if one could endure the virus's transformation, that would already be very good. Its level of danger was no lower than that of the zombie virus. Finally, after a few minutes, Fong Luo's body's transformation was complete. Fong Luo could clearly feel that his body had become somewhat stronger. At the same time, he had also gained an extra ability. Spatial blink. Fong Luo tried it out. He could now jump across a distance of about 3 meters, and even if there were a wall in front of him, he could pass through to the other side. Great. With this ability, who would still be afraid of being caught in bed? Fong Luo was extremely excited. Although this wasn't an offensive skill, it was definitely an excellent life-saving skill. What could be more important than staying alive? Meow? Suddenly, a cat's hiss reached Fong Luo's ears. Fong Luo couldn't help frowning. It was Dianmu. Did something happen to Dianmu? Could it be a zombie? Fong Luo immediately ran toward his car. When he saw what was happening beside it, his eyes instantly filled with fury. At some point, 3 people had gathered around the car: a man, a woman, and a big-headed child. All 3 looked extremely disheveled. their faces covered in grime. And they reeked horribly, as if they had crawled out of a sewer. It looked like a family of three. The man was short and skinny as a bamboo pole. As for the woman and the child, Fong Luo recognized them. They were the fat woman and the brat who had abused Dianmu before. The few of them were divvying up the half bottle of cola Fong Luo had left unfinished, along with the mineral water and canned cat food he had left for Dianmu. Their mouths were covered in food. Even the crumbs that accidentally fell to the ground, they picked up reluctantly and kept eating. I can't believe there's cola here, and it's even cold. This is awesome. I wonder whose car this is, actually giving mineral water to a cat. What a complete waste. Don't they know how many people can't even get water to drink? That's just immoral. Dad, save me a sip. Cola isn't good for kids. Let Dad drink it. The three of them quickly finished off all of Fong Luo's supplies, their faces full of lingering dissatisfaction. For the past few days, all they had eaten was rotten, stinking food, and the water they drank was filthy sewage. When there was no water, they drank each other's urine to stay alive. To them, cold cola and canned cat food like this were practically delicacies from heaven. Meow? Inside the car, Dianmu glared furiously at these bad people who had stolen her food, a low growl rumbling from her mouth. She remembered them, especially that brat, who had kept abusing her before. Dianmu's eyes were full of hatred. Damn it, you little beast, what are you yelling for? So what if we ate some of your stuff? How can a worthless life like yours compare to mine? Lu Zhuang glared at Dianmu. Beside him, Lu Zhuang's wife, Li Xiaomei, swallowed and said while looking at Dianmu, "This cat's pretty fat. How about we kill it and eat the meat?" "Mom, I want to eat cat meat." "Good idea." The family of three stared greedily at Dianmu, reaching out to grab her, ready to skin her and tear her apart. But Dianmu was no pushover either. She lashed out with her claws, leaving their hands covered in scratches. "Damn it, you beast, how dare you scratch me? I'll smash you to death." Lu Zhuang picked up a rock from the side and was about to hurl it at Dianmu. "Stop right there." At that moment, a voice as cold as frost rang out behind the three of them. They turned around and saw a handsome man staring at them, his eyes seeming to contain endless killing intent. With just one look, the big-headed son was so frightened that he started crying. "Who the hell are you?" Seeing his son scared to tears, Lu Zhuang cursed at the top of his lungs. "This is my car." "Your car?" Lu Zhuang snorted coldly. "Just because you say it's yours makes it yours? I could just as well say it's mine. Why don't you call out to it and see if it answers you? Get lost now, or I'll beat you up." Lu Zhuang waved his bamboo-thin arm, and it was hard to imagine how he had fathered this big-headed child with this 250-pound fat woman. Wait. At that moment, Lu Zhuang's wife sized Fong Luo up, seeming to recall who he was, and immediately shouted at the top of her lungs, "It's you? You little punk. You know him?" Lu Zhuang asked his wife in confusion, feeling something strange in his heart. Could he be his wife's lover? "He's so handsome. I knew our son didn't look like me. More than know him. He's the one who hit our son before and even shoved me." Li Xiaomei stood with her hands on her hips, pointing at Fong Luo like a shrew. "Dad, he hit me." Beside them, the big-headed son cried even harder, pointing at Fong Luo and calling him a big villain. "Fuck you, you actually dared to hit my son. Kid, I'm telling you, if you don't pay the medical expenses today, don't even think about leaving." Lu Zhuang and Li Xiaomei rolled up their sleeves and surrounded Fong Luo menacingly. 100 cases of water. Don't say you don't have any. You just gave water to a cat. I want cola." The big-headed kid cried and shouted. The whole family was like a flock of ducks, crying and making a scene. It was so noisy that Fong Luo was beyond annoyed. What a family of jerks. Fong Luo looked at these people coldly. The good mood from just obtaining the evolution virus was now completely gone. He directly took out an AK from his space, preparing to send their whole family off nice and neatly. But just then, the big-headed kids crying and fussing abruptly stopped. April 5th, 2230. The planetary virus descended upon Blue Star, and the zombie virus outbreak began. The true apocalypse officially started. In the city, two men simultaneously spotted a bottle of mineral water, and were fighting fiercely over who it belonged to. "Ha ha ha, you skinny twig, and you dare fight me for it? Go to hell." The stronger man knocked the other to the ground with one punch, and was laughing triumphantly, ready to enjoy his spoils. However, the next moment, the scrawny man who had been knocked down suddenly began convulsing, making strange gurgling sounds in his throat. Then, as if he had become a different person, lunged straight at the strong man. With one bite, he tore through the neck of a man more than twice his size. All over the world, things like this were happening at every moment. Whether disaster victims with no supplies, tycoons with trillions at their disposal, or well-trained armies. Anyone could turn into a zombie or be bitten to death by one. 65 degrees Celsius heat, power outages, water outages, spoiled food, mutated zombies. The world had fallen completely into chaos. No one could guarantee how long they could survive in such a harsh environment. At the same time, Fong Luo was looking into the distance. The big-headed kid had stopped crying and fussing, but suddenly his whole body began convulsing, his eyes constantly rolling back, while gurgling sounds came from his mouth, extremely eerie. "Son, what's wrong with you?" Lu Zhuang and Li Xiaomei, who had been surrounding Fong Luo, also noticed their son's abnormal state and hurried over. "Rabies? Was he scratched by that cat just now? Fuck your mother, you little punk. Hurry up and pay me." Lu Zhuang, holding his son, still thought it was rabies and wanted to keep extorting money from Fong Luo. But right at that moment, the big-headed kid in Lu Zhuang's arms suddenly twisted into a ferocious expression and viciously bit his own father on the neck. The big-headed kid had turned into a zombie. Lu Zhuang's pupils widened. He hurriedly tried to struggle free. But although the other party was only 7 or 8 years old, after turning into a zombie, both his strength and speed were no longer what they used to be. With the help of his wife, who weighed over 200 jin, Lu Zhuang finally managed to tear his son away with great difficulty. Looking over, he saw that his son's mouth was holding a large chunk of flesh. And from his own neck, a piece was shockingly missing, with blood vessels clearly exposed. Before Lu Zhuang even had time to cry out in pain, because his windpipe had been severed, he clutched his neck and collapsed helplessly to the ground, dying with his eyes open. He could not understand no matter how hard he tried why his son had bitten him. On the other side, Li Xiaomei was also stunned. Her son had bitten her husband to death. But what terrified her even more was that her big-headed son was baring his teeth at her. Lu Zhuang had been too skinny just now, hardly any meat on him. But this fat woman was plump and well-fed, and should be especially tasty. "Don't come over here. Get the hell away, you little beast. I'm your mother." Li Xiaomei flung her son away and turned to run with a scream. But it was already too late. The big-headed son jumped straight onto her back and bit off a large chunk of flesh in one bite, exposing ghastly white bone. In less than 2 minutes, the husband and wife both died tragically on the ground, bit to death alive by their own son. Looking at the scene before him, Fong Luo was deeply shocked as well. Zombies really do spare no one. They even bite their own father and mother. He hadn't expected this big-headed son to be the first to be infected with the zombie virus. It was probably when the group had just grabbed Dianmu that they were scratched by her, and just as the virus descended, it came into contact with the wound. They really got what they deserved. The big-headed son kept tearing at the fat woman. She was plump and sturdy enough for him to have his fill, so he had no time to pay attention to Fong Luo nearby. Fong Luo looked at the disgusting scene with revulsion, took out a weapon from his space, and prepared to deal with this zombie. However, to his surprise, a tabby cat suddenly stood in front of him. "Dianmu?" Fong Luo looked at Dianmu in confusion, not knowing what she was about to do. But when he carefully noticed something unusual about Dianmu, his eyes soon widened. At some point, Dianmu had actually awakened to power. At this moment, her tail was emitting crackling electric sounds, along with sparks produced by the collision of currents. Under this pitch-black night sky, as if it were a firework, Fong Luo had probably just left when an evolution crystal also fell here. Cats have better vision than humans at night, and they're more curious about glowing things, so she probably got infected by chance when she got out of the car to look for it. "You want to do it yourself?" Fong Luo asked, probing. "Meow?" Dianmu was famous for holding grudges and taking revenge. In his previous life, anyone who had offended her was killed by her one by one. And since Dianmu had often been abused by them before, now that she had awakened to power, she wanted to take revenge personally. "You really do repay every grievance, but I like it." Fong Luo smiled, greatly admiring Dianmu's approach. He couldn't agree with repaying evil with kindness. That was clearly an act against one's true feelings. A true gentleman repays every grievance. "Go on, be careful not to get bitten." The big-headed son had already turned into a zombie, and Fong Luo felt not the slightest pity just because he had been a child before. If he wasn't killed, more people would be bitten. "Meow?" Dianmu indicated that she understood, then ran toward the zombie, her tail releasing a flashing electric current that shot straight at it. Bzzzt. With an explosive crack, the big-headed son zombie collapsed directly to the ground, his whole body charred black, killed instantly. Holy shit. This time it was Fong Luo's turn to be dumbfounded. In his previous life, he had only heard that Dianmu was formidable. He hadn't expected her to be this formidable, killing a zombie in a single strike. If it were him, without using weapons. He was afraid he wouldn't be able to kill a zombie so easily. Most importantly, Dianmu had only just awakened her power. Sure enough, after animals awaken powers, their combat strength is somewhat stronger than that of humans. Fong Luo felt somewhat fortunate. Luckily, he was Dianmu's owner, and he had treated her fairly well usually. Otherwise, with her grudge-holding personality, wouldn't she electrocute him to death in minutes? Dianmu, from now on I'll give you double portions of dried little fish. You must remember to be grateful, okay? Fong Luo looked at Dianmu ingratiatingly. Meow? Dianmu grinned, raised her tail high, let out a meow, and shook her head haughtily. It was as if she were saying, with my current strength, it'll be hard for me to work for you at that price. You'll have to add extra meals. She seemed to know just how awesome she was. This cat of yours is way too sly, isn't she? Fong Luo complained. Without discussing it, he directly grabbed Dianmu by the back of the neck and tossed her into the car. Look at you, all full of yourself. Don't you know who the master is? Meow? Dianmu cried out, her face full of defiance. But for the sake of the dried fish, she endured it. Fong Luo looked at the zombie corpse again, took a long blade out of his storage space, and stabbed it into the zombie's head. It wasn't because Fong Luo had violent tendencies, or liked mutilating corpses. Rather, Fong Luo wanted to take out the enhancement crystal from the zombie's brain. Whether it was the evolution virus or the zombie virus, once infected, an enhancement crystal would appear in the brain. It was precisely these enhancement crystals that granted creatures powerful strength. As long as one absorbed these crystals, one's ability could become even stronger, with exactly the same effect as the evolution virus. Enhancement crystals emit light of different intensities depending on their strength. The brighter the light, the stronger the energy, and the greater the increase in power. This zombie had only just mutated, and the crystal inside its body emitted only a very faint white light, with rather little energy. Fong Luo absorbed it directly. During the absorption process, Fong Luo only felt a slight tingling numbness in his body. It was much more comfortable than when he had absorbed the evolution virus earlier. But the energy was worlds apart. The energy in this enhancement crystal was only about 1% of that previous evolution virus. One evolution virus was equivalent to 100 newly mutated zombies. I need to find more evolution viruses. Fong Luo made up his mind. The virus outbreak had only just begun, and no one had yet discovered the remarkable properties of the evolution virus. If he waited a few more days, once others discovered this, finding the virus would become far more difficult, and by then, the zombies would also become increasingly powerful and not so easy to deal with. Fong Luo searched the surrounding area again. Unfortunately, he only found one evolution crystal. He did, however, discover several zombies, not just humans, but also some cats and dogs. Fortunately, he had bought weapons in advance. These newly mutated zombies posed no threat to him. Bang bang bang. Fong Luo held the AK and fired a few bursts, and the zombies lost their ability to fight. Looks like there won't be any more evolution viruses here. I need to look somewhere else. Fong Luo tried to recall which places in his previous life had evolution crystals. Evolution crystals were extremely rare in number. In his previous life, there were only a few thousand ability users in the entire city of Luo, scattered across various places. Fong Luo only vaguely remembered the general areas where several relatively famous ability users had contracted the virus. Even so, searching was still troublesome. Because evolution crystals were very small, usually only about the size of a peanut. Right, Dianmu can help look for them. Fong Luo suddenly had a flash of inspiration. Although evolution crystals were small, they had one characteristic. They glowed. Dianmu was a cat, and her night vision was far better than a human's by who knew how many times over, and she was also rather curious about glowing objects. Now the whole city was basically without power. Everywhere was pitch black. Having Dianmu help search was simply more suitable than anything else. Wake up, stop sleeping, get up and get to work. Fong Luo patted the soundly sleeping Dianmu. She had just helped Fong Luo kill zombies and released a lot of electricity, so she had fallen asleep from exhaustion. Abilities could not be released endlessly. They consumed the host's stamina. So people with strong builds were generally more formidable and had better endurance than those with slight builds. But that wasn't absolute. In his previous life, Fong Luo had seen a woman who was thin and weak, and lame in one leg, yet far stronger than ordinary ability users. At the time, Fong Luo was being surrounded by a group of zombies when this lame woman happened to pass by. And with a casual move, she wiped out dozens of zombies and saved him. If it weren't for her, Fong Luo wouldn't have survived even 30 days. Unfortunately, She didn't say a word and just left. Later, Fong Luo asked around about her. He heard that she had previously been a student at Luo City University. He just didn't know where she was now. If there was a chance, Fong Luo really wanted to bring her under his command before she awakened her powers and have her work for him. He had to go look around near the school. Meow? Awakened by Fong Luo, Dianmu shot him a somewhat unwilling glare. Didn't you see I was off work and resting? Overtime means overtime pay. Fine, extra food. Looking at Dianmu lying down again, Fong Luo rolled his eyes speechlessly. She really won't work without pay. Meow? That's more like it. Dianmu wagged her tail in satisfaction, then opened her round eyes wide and carefully looked out the window. Fong Luo headed toward Luo City University, preparing to find the girl who had saved him in his previous life, and also look for the evolution virus. The streets were somewhat chaotic. Some people who had originally been searching for supplies suddenly turned into zombies and started tearing into other survivors. As soon as Fong Luo came out of the residential complex, he saw a beautiful young married woman in only her underwear fleeing in panic. Unfortunately, the zombies were too fast, and in the end she was still surrounded and torn apart by 3 male zombies, the last bits of fabric on her body shredded to pieces. Even after turning into zombies, they're still this lecherous. Fong Luo watched in righteous indignation, as those zombies all bit toward the parts of the woman's body with the most flesh. Blood splattered everywhere. When Fong Luo passed by, they even climbed onto his vehicle, constantly clawing at and biting it. Fortunately, Fong Luo's vehicle was a Dongfeng Mengshi armored car. Although it was the civilian version, the tires and windows were all bulletproof. When ordinary zombies bit Fong Luo's car, not only did they fail to leave any damage, they even chipped their own teeth. Fong Luo didn't waste words and directly took out an AK from his space, using the firing port to take out all the zombies. However, the gunshots attracted even more zombies, and in an instant the vehicle was surrounded so tightly that not even water could pass through. Their roars were incessant, making the scene extremely horrifying. Beside him, even Dianmu's fur stood on end. Good thing I was mentally prepared. Fong Luo sighed inwardly. If he hadn't encountered zombies in his previous life, and then spent several days grinding VR zombie games, getting used to this scene, he would have had his legs go weak in fright when facing something like this. Too terrifying. But luckily, sitting inside the vehicle was very safe. Fong Luo continued holding the gun and sprayed at the zombies through the firing port. Good thing there was plenty of ammo, otherwise he wouldn't have been able to kill them all. Fong Luo had previously gone to Southeast Asia and bought weapons worth several million. He had hundreds of thousands of rounds of ammunition. After more than 10 minutes, Fong Luo finally wiped out all the zombies. However, his vehicle was also surrounded so tightly by corpses that it took a lot of effort just to open the door and get out. Then he cracked open the zombies' heads one by one. So many crystals were worth as much as one evolution crystal, so they couldn't be wasted. Half an hour later, Fong Luo had collected more than 100 zombie core crystals. Fong Luo continued on his way, driving the armored vehicle and rolling over the zombies' bodies. The zombies whose heads had been split open splattered fluids everywhere again beneath the several-ton armored vehicle. Fong Luo advanced toward Luo City University. Because of the zombies' destruction, the streets had become even more chaotic, with broken vehicle parts and trash everywhere. Some houses that had long fallen into disrepair collapsed directly after being struck by out-of-control vehicles, and there was hardly any place to step on the road. Fortunately, Fong Luo was driving an armored vehicle with high ground clearance and strong shock absorption, so whether it was zombies or rocks, he could drive right over them. If it had been an ordinary vehicle, it would have been nearly impossible to move an inch. Luo City University. It was the largest university in Luo City and also a national Key 985 university, with a student population of over 30,000, gathering students from all over the country. However, after several days of extreme heat, power outages, water shortages, and spoiled food have made the campus no longer so full of life. However, there are still some students staying at school because the extreme heat has caused transportation to shut down, leaving them unable to go home. Fong Luo drove straight into the campus. Some security guards came over to stop him, but those guards had already turned into zombies. It seems the school has also fallen. Sure enough, not a single place has been spared. Fong Luo sighed. I wonder where that limping woman is. Fong Luo didn't know that limping woman. After she saved him in his previous life, she left right away. Fong Luo only found out that she was a student at Luoqing University. Let's check the women's dormitory first. Fong Luo drove the armored vehicle directly over the security zombie corpses and sped toward the women's dormitory building. Women's dormitory building. Are those zombies outside? What do we do? Inside one dorm room, several girls were hiding there, trembling with fear. The strange changes over the past few days had shattered their worldview. First came the sudden extreme heat. Then the water and electricity were cut off. Just now, growling suddenly came from the dorm next door. When they stuck their heads out to look, they saw a walking corpse, with a girl's arm dangling from its mouth. Could the one in its mouth be her roommate? They were instantly scared out of their wits. What can we do? You want to go lure the zombies away? A woman dressed only in sexy underwear and carrying herself arrogantly snorted. Sister Nana, stop joking. How could I possibly outrun zombies? A short girl laughed awkwardly. Suddenly, her eyes shifted, and she leaned close to Lee Nana's ear and whispered, "How about letting Lindsay Jean go? Doesn't she work part-time while studying? Often running errands and delivering packages for people? She definitely runs fast. Besides, even if she doesn't lure the zombies away, that's one less person to share the food. Maybe then we can hold out until rescue comes." Her? Lee Nana glanced at the girl in the corner with short hair and a cheap white t-shirt. What a fucking idiot. In weather this hot, she's still wearing a t-shirt and long pants. Who is she trying to act modest for? She had never liked Lindsay Jean in the first place. No father, no mother, just a poor loser, coming back from part-time jobs every day smelling awful, making Lee Nana spray perfume every time. And she was always buying piles of cheap bread and bottled water and stacking them in the dorm as her meals, leaving no space in the dorm even for Lee Nana's yoga mat. She's also a scheming bitch, always acting like she's indifferent to the world, like some pure little white flower, drawing the attention of all the rich second-generation boys at school instead of onto herself. Clearly, her looks and figure are both better than that country bumpkin's. Not a bad idea. Lee Nana nodded, somewhat tempted. Isn't that a bit inappropriate? Another girl wearing glasses hesitated. We're still eating the food Lindsay Jean bought right now. The short girl curled her lip. So what if it's hers? If we hadn't agreed to let her stack her stuff in the bathroom, would she even have all that stuff? What? Or do you want to go lure the zombies away in her place? This. The girl with glasses fell silent. How could she possibly lure the zombies away? Very good. Lee Nana smiled in satisfaction, then looked at the bewildered Lindsay Jean. Lindsay Jean, after discussion among the three of us, we've decided to assign you a task. A task? Lindsay Jean looked at Lee Nana in confusion. Could it be that the other party wanted her to clean the bathroom again? We're all trapped here now, so we can't just sit around waiting to die. Usually you're the fastest runner, so go outside and lure the zombies away to create a chance for us to escape. Lee Nana said it in a commanding tone. Lure the zombies away? Lindsay Jean was somewhat terrified. She wasn't stupid. Just from the sound of the zombies pounding on the door outside, she knew they were not easy to deal with. Wouldn't going out there herself just be suicide? How could I die? I still have my younger sister to take care of. I'm not going. Although Lindsay Jean was usually timid and obedient to these people's orders, when faced with something this unreasonable, she was extremely firm. Even if you won't go, you still have to go. Lee Nana snorted and stepped forward to grab Lindsay Jean. But she was usually just a pretty face. Aside from putting on makeup, dressing up, and doing a bit of yoga, she hardly exercised at all. As for Lindsay Jean, she usually had to work part-time and deliver takeout. Though thin and weak-looking, she was far stronger than Lee Nana, and with one struggle, she pushed Lee Nana to the ground. You scheming bitch, you actually pushed me. Why aren't you getting on her already? Lee Nana flew into a rage and ordered the short girl to step forward and restrain Lindsay Jean. Unfortunately, she still couldn't subdue Lindsay Jean and instead got slapped several times. She then looked at the girl with glasses. Why aren't you helping yet? The girl with glasses hesitated a little. If you don't, then don't even think about getting any supplies later. Lee Nana snorted coldly. Hearing that, the girl with glasses no longer hesitated. Her own life was obviously far more important than Lindsay Jean's, and she instantly forgot all about how Lindsay Jean had given them food before. Jean, don't blame me. I just want to stay alive. Under the pincer attack of the three of them, Lindsay Jean was subdued without surprise, and then, with despair written all over her face, was pushed out the door by the three working together. She didn't understand why, when they had no food or water, she had reached out to help them, yet they still treated her like this. Did they not have even a shred of conscience? Go lure the zombies away now. Lee Nana slammed the door shut with a bang. Outside the door, the zombies, who had originally been about to leave, immediately revealed bloodthirsty expressions when they saw Lindsay Jean and lunged at her. Lindsay Jean was startled. Although her legs felt weak, her desire to survive still drove her to hurry and run for her life. She couldn't die. Her younger sister was still waiting for her. Without her, how could she survive alone? She was only 16 years old. Lin Zijin ran as fast as she could, but there were simply too many zombies around, and soon she was cornered in a dead end. Her face was filled with despair. Was she going to die? Lin Zijin looked at the window beside her. Her dorm room was on the 3rd floor, less than 10 meters from the grass below. If she jumped, she might still have a chance to escape. Even if she died from the fall, it would still be better than being eaten by these disgusting monsters. Lin Zijin took a deep breath and decisively jumped out the window. Fong Luo drove the armored vehicle all the way to the girls' dormitory and was originally just about to head upstairs, when suddenly the electric cat meowed beside him, its little meaty paw pointing insistently at a spot, looking extremely anxious. Fong Luo looked over in confusion. He saw that in the grass in front of the dormitory building, something was emitting a faint glow. An evolution crystal? Fong Luo's heart stirred, and he immediately ran toward the glowing spot. Sure enough, in the grass, a crystal the size of a peanut was emitting a twinkling light. It was indeed an evolution crystal. He didn't expect it would be this easy to find. Fong Luo was overjoyed. He had originally thought it would take quite a bit of effort. However, just as he was examining the crystal, a graceful figure in the air fell toward his position. Fong Luo was overjoyed when suddenly a scream came from above his head. He looked up in confusion. He saw a full, rounded but coming down right toward his face. Fong Luo was utterly bewildered. He quickly stepped back and instinctively reached out to catch the falling girl. Soft and springy to the touch, it felt pretty nice. Fong Luo curiously looked over the girl in his arms, a head of naturally black short hair, with small jade-like earlobes faintly visible between the strands, making one want to brush aside her hair and take a closer look at just how perfect she was. Her pair of peach blossom eyes were tightly shut, her curved eyelashes trembling slightly, as if she was extremely nervous and afraid. Her delicate, pitiable appearance stirred even Fong Luo's sympathy, especially those cherry lips, rosy and soft, making one want to hold them and savor them to the fullest. What surprised Fong Luo even more was that, despite having a body close to 170 centimeters tall, she felt almost weightless in his arms. He could encircle her entire waist with just one hand. "It's you." When he finally saw the face of the girl in his arms, Fong Luo opened his mouth in shock, and joy instantly surged through his heart. Excited, he hugged her even tighter. This girl was none other than the lame girl Fong Luo had been searching for, the one who had saved his life in his previous life. But how had she fallen from the sky? Suddenly, he remembered the evolution crystal he had picked up. Could it be? Fong Luo couldn't help but laugh inwardly. He probably knew how Lin Zijin had awakened her power in her previous life. She must have been fleeing from zombies and jumped down from a building, landing right on top of the evolution crystal and awakening her power as a result. Her leg was probably crippled from that fall as well. His appearance in this life had spared her the misfortune of breaking her leg. Feeling herself tightly held, Lin Zijin slowly opened her eyes as well, and upon realizing it was a strange man, a flush immediately rose to her face, and she at once tried to break free from Fong Luo's embrace. She had never been held by a boy before, especially with this boy's hand still firmly supporting her own. She could even feel the warmth of his palm, and what was even more infuriating was that his hand would occasionally squeeze. It was simply too embarrassing. Lin Zijin's parents had died young, and she had been raised by her grandmother since childhood, having accepted from a very young age her grandmother's traditional beliefs of self-respect, self-love, and lifelong fidelity. How had she ever met a hooligan like Fong Luo, who started touching her right away? However, Fong Luo was far stronger than she could break free from. After struggling a few times, she only ended up rubbing against him intimately instead, leaving herself blushing deeply. "Let go of me." Unable to break free, Lin Zijin said to Fong Luo with embarrassed anger. Okay." Fong Luo smiled and somewhat reluctantly set her down. "The feel really was nice. Thank you." Only then did Lin Zijin thank Fong Luo gratefully, secretly thinking how lucky it was that this boy had been there. Otherwise, even if she hadn't died from the fall, she would at least have broken some bones. "I was really too impulsive just now." Thinking about it now, she still felt a little frightened. "Right. We need to run. There are zombies upstairs." Only then did Lin Zijin remember that she was fleeing for her life. And no longer caring about being shy, she immediately grabbed Fong Luo's arm and was about to run. But when she looked ahead, she found even more zombies closing in, and there was nowhere for her to escape. "It's over. I'm still going to die." Lin Zijin felt somewhat despairing. "Come with me." Fong Luo also saw the zombies closing in, picked Lin Zijin up again, and quickly ran toward the armored vehicle. With so many zombies, without the protection of a vehicle, even he might get bitten. Is this your car? Seeing the towering armored vehicle, Lin Zijin opened her mouth in surprise. She had only seen this kind of vehicle on TV. Who exactly was this handsome boy in front of her? Could he be a soldier? Lin Zijin was a little curious about Fong Luo's identity. While she was sizing up Fong Luo, a zombie suddenly rushed to the car window and kept biting at the vehicle, startling Lin Zijin so badly that she instinctively shrank into Fong Luo's arms. Don't be afraid, I'm here. Fong Luo wrapped an arm around Lin Zijin's slender waist. In his previous life, he had trembled while surrounded by zombies and was saved by her. Now it was she who was trembling and hiding in his arms. His male chauvinistic mindset gave Fong Luo a secret thrill. Looking at the zombies lunging in from all around, Fong Luo took a gun out of his space while Lin Zijin wasn't paying attention, and mercilessly wiped out those beautiful female zombies. After seeing the gun, Lin Zijin was even more astonished, but watching Fong Luo kill the zombies, she felt a sense of security welling up inside again. Upstairs, Li Nana, who had originally been hiding in the dorm room, also heard the gunshots. She looked up out the window and saw a huge armored vehicle emitting white light, parked steadily below. It's the military. Li Nana was overjoyed. Someone's here to save us. We're finally saved. That's great. If I'd known this would happen, we shouldn't have pushed Lin Zijin out. What's done is done. We can only say she had bad luck. It's not our fault. Li Nana curled her lips, then stared at the armored vehicle with shining eyes. At a dangerous time like this, only an armored vehicle could give her a sense of security. More than 10 minutes later, Fong Luo had wiped out all the zombies that had swarmed over, and the ground was covered with severed limbs and mangled remains. Lin Zijin took one look and already began to feel nauseated. Times are different now. You'll have to get used to scenes like this in the future. Fong Luo patted her on the back. Only then did Lin Zijin feel a little better, and she looked at Fong Luo in confusion. Could it be that the world will keep being like this? Hard to say. Fong Luo wasn't too sure either, but at least for the next few years, it won't go back to the way it was before. A few years? Lin Zijin exclaimed, her face showing worry. When would she be able to go save her younger sister? Thank you. After a moment, Lin Zijin thanked Fong Luo again. No need to thank me. Fong Luo smiled. In his previous life, she had saved him, so it was only right for him to save her. Besides, he wasn't saving her for nothing. What made you think of jumping down from upstairs? Fong Luo asked again in confusion. The third floor wasn't a height just anyone would dare jump from. Lin Zijin hesitated for a moment before telling him what had happened earlier, her face full of sorrow. She had truly treated her roommates as friends. She never expected. Over there. Just then, a burst of noise suddenly came from outside the vehicle, and 3 girls of different heights came running excitedly toward them. Are you with the military? Li Nana and the other girls came to the side of the vehicle, knocking on the window, and said resentfully, "What took you so long? Do you know I almost died? Hurry up and open the door. It's hot as hell outside. Let us in already." Exactly. There are so many disgusting corpses here, they've scared us. This is going to leave us psychologically scarred. You're way too inefficient. Why did you only come to rescue us now? Do you know we almost got eaten by zombies? I'm going to file a complaint against you. The girls spoke over one another, reaching out to slap Fong Luo's window, urging him to let them onto the vehicle. Fong Luo sneered inwardly. It seemed these women had not truly adapted to the apocalypse yet, thinking this was just an ordinary disaster that would pass before long. Who knew what gave them the nerve to speak to him in that tone? He was holding a gun and had just killed dozens of zombies in one go. If they ran into someone ruthless, wouldn't they get, done first and then done again? Did they still think this was an era of peace and prosperity? Besides, not to mention that he wasn't a soldier, even if he were. After he killed the zombies here and they were saved, they ought to be grateful to him. Yet they were actually complaining that he had come late. So picky and fault-finding. Who gave you the nerve to be so full of yourself? Fong Luo was about to leave, but when he turned his head, he noticed that Lin Zijin's expression was off. There was some fear in her eyes, and some anger too. Were they the ones who pushed you out of the dorm? Fong Luo thought of something. Lin Zijin nodded lightly. She glanced at Li Nana and the others. My relationship with these people was never good. Back in the dorm, they treated me like a servant. They often made me serve them tea and water, bring them meals, and I alone had to clean the dorm bathroom and floors. And they would talk bad about me behind my back. One time, when I came back to the dorm after my evening part-time job, I heard them before I even walked in, calling me a scheming bitch, saying I was doing that kind of business outside, and even using my towel to wipe the floor. I was furious, but I had finally made it into college, and I didn't want conflicts with others. So I could only take the initiative to be nice to them, hoping to become friends with them. Even after the apocalypse began, I gave most of my food and water to them. I just didn't expect them to still treat me like this. Do you want revenge? I'll help you kill them, Fong Luo said. Lin Zijin had saved him in his previous life, and Fong Luo was determined to repay that debt. Lin Zijin looked at Fong Luo in surprise. Although she really did want to teach Li Nana and the others a lesson, hearing Fong Luo speak so casually about killing still gave her a scare. She wasn't some saint or devil, just an ordinary female college student. Killing felt a bit too shocking to her. Fong Luo opened the car door and got out, looking coldly at the three girls. Why did you only open the door now? Did you hear what we said? Which unit are you from? I'm going to file a complaint against you. As soon as he got out, the short girl put her hands on her hips and shouted angrily. Her whole body gave off a foul stench, and even her sweat was black. Who knew how many days it had been since she bathed? Fuck your complaint. Pia. Fong Luo slapped her directly across the face. The short woman spun around in place several times, completely stunned. Damn, she's filthy. Fong Luo wiped his hand. This woman hadn't bathed in who knew how many days. If he'd known, he would have used his foot. He quickly took out a bottle of mineral water and washed his hand. The other two women, seeing their companion get slapped into a swollen pig's head, were just about to get angry. But then they saw Fong Luo actually washing his hand with mineral water, and they were dumbfounded. Fong Luo? At that moment, one of the girls, dressed in black lace lingerie with a tall and sexy figure, cried out after seeing Fong Luo's face clearly. Fong Luo looked over, and when he saw her face clearly, a flash of killing intent instantly crossed his eyes. It was actually her, Li Nana. Su Qingqing's family had 18 people, and this Li Nana was Su Qingqing's cousin. She had seen Fong Luo before at the hotel. In his previous life, Li Nana had also screwed Fong Luo over quite a few times. Back then, after Li Nana escaped from the school, she got trapped somewhere. Under Li Dongmei's pressure, Fong Luo risked his life to go save her. But on the way, they accidentally ran into zombies. While the two were fleeing, Li Nana, just to save her own life, deliberately tripped Fong Luo, causing him to fall and be surrounded by zombies. It was also then that Lin Zijin appeared and saved Fong Luo. After they returned, Li Nana showed not the slightest gratitude, nor any apology. Every day she just sat there with her mouth open, waiting for Fong Luo to bring supplies back. And behind his back, she said Fong Luo was useless, that the food he found wasn't even enough to fill the gaps between her teeth, and urged Su Qingqing to hurry up and find another boyfriend. She was a complete scheming bitch. Unexpectedly, Lin Zijin was also harmed by her. Having just dealt with Su Qingqing, he was worrying about not being able to find anyone else, and unexpectedly ran into her by such a coincidence. Of the 18 people who killed him in his previous life, Fong Luo would not let a single one of them off. Li Nana looked at Fong Luo, somewhat surprised and at the same time somewhat delighted. What surprised her was that, according to her cousin Su Qingqing's earlier introduction, Fong Luo was just an ordinary wage earner with only a few million in savings. At the time, she had looked down on him a little, thinking her cousin's standards were too low for finding such a loser. But she hadn't expected Fong Luo to have such an imposing armored vehicle. This car must cost over $1 million, right? And he even had guns. If he weren't a member of some mysterious great family, how could he possibly get this kind of stuff? It seemed that her cousin had deliberately concealed it back then, probably because she was afraid that, since she was prettier than her, she would steal Fong Luo from her. No wonder her cousin had gone traveling with Fong Luo. What a scheming woman. Li Nana felt a little sour inside. At the same time, she was also somewhat delighted. This mutated weather, along with the terrifying zombies that had just appeared, had brought enormous disaster upon the world and also given her a tremendous shock. Li Nana had gone to college too, and she knew that with this level of destruction and these terrifying zombies, it would take at least a very long time for normal society to return. Or it might never return. If that were really the case, then even if the military came and she was rescued, she would still end up receiving the same treatment as the two hicks beside her, and might even have to live with vagrants. She was so beautiful. How could she live that kind of life? But Fong Luo was different. He was her cousin's husband. So when it came to her, his wife's younger cousin, he would surely treat her better than others. She would be above everyone else. If she could steal Fong Luo away from her cousin, then with his armored vehicle and weapons, even if the world remained in the apocalypse forever, She would not have to worry about safety in the future. She could even do some things she normally couldn't do. She felt she could do it. Because her figure and looks were both better than her cousins, and most importantly, she was young and still a college student. Brother Fong Luo, why is it you? Did you come specially to pick me up? A coquettish smile immediately appeared on Li Nana's face as she stepped forward and tightly hugged Fong Luo's arm. Clamping his arm tightly, afraid that the roommates beside her wouldn't know their relationship, and she even deliberately raised her voice very loud. Sure enough, hearing Li Nana's words, the two roommates beside her immediately looked astonished. Their eyes revealed envious expressions. Sister Nana, is this your boyfriend? The two roommates looked at Li Nana and at the tall armored vehicle beside her with some envy. Brother Fong Luo, I'm sorry about just now. The short woman who had just been beaten, though originally full of resentment, now didn't dare say anything at all. The bespectacled woman at the side also looked full of ingratiation. Li Nana looked rather pleased with herself, feeling superior to others, and became even more determined to steal Fong Luo away from her cousin. Brother Fong Luo, is this car yours? Where are we going now? Li Nana held Fong Luo's arm, deliberately swaying it from side to side, her tone coy and seductive. It had to be said that as Su Qingqing's cousin, Li Nana looked somewhat similar to her. Her looks were around an 8 out of 10, and her figure was also very voluptuous. Especially with the hot weather now, Li Nana was wearing only a lace bra, with one long leg exposed, making her look even sexier. The sensation on Fong Luo's arm did not lie. Where are we going? Fong Luo sneered inwardly. Of course, to send you to the Yellow Springs. But sending them off this easily would be letting this Li Nana off too lightly. Fong Luo wanted her to experience despair as well. Let's go home. Li Nana had no idea Fong Luo was going to kill her, and nodded excitedly, saying in a sweet, coquettish voice, I'll have to trouble Brother Fong Luo to take care of me. Fong Luo just smiled and said nothing. Take care of you? Oh, I'll definitely take care of you. Make sure you're cared for to the point of wishing you were dead. Fong Luo wanted her to feel what it was like to be about to touch hope, then go through despair, and finally be unable to bear the burden. Fong Luo got into the car. Li Nana excitedly ran to the front passenger seat, but when she opened the door, she found someone sitting inside. Lin Zijin, why are you here? Li Nana frowned. This bitch actually didn't die and was saved by Fong Luo. Somewhat displeased, she ordered, is this where you should be sitting? Get down now. Lin Zijin lowered her head somewhat dejectedly, preparing to get out of the car and take the chance to leave directly. But just as she was about to get out, a large hand grabbed her arm. Stay seated, Fong Luo said in a tone that brooked no refusal. Lin Zijin was extremely surprised. Shouldn't Fong Luo be sitting with his girlfriend? Why wasn't he letting her get out of the car? Brother Fong Luo? Li Nana was also a little confused. Sit your damn ass down. Get in the trunk. Don't dirty my car. Fong Luo coldly pointed to the back. Huh. Li Nana froze, suspecting she had misheard. Why was Fong Luo telling her to go into the trunk? Brother Fong Luo, you're joking, right? Li Nana asked. What? Do I need to say it a second time? Li Nana was a little unwilling and wanted to say something more, but when she saw Fong Luo's unquestionable expression, she shut her mouth again. In the dangerous apocalypse, she was just a useless pretty face with no strength to even truss a chicken. She simply didn't dare talk back to Fong Luo now. In the apocalypse, the strong are supreme. Obediently, she and her two roommates rolled into the trunk. Li Nana felt somewhat angry inside, but she didn't dare be angry at Fong Luo, so she directed her resentment toward Lin Zijin. It must be this scheming bitch talking bad about her. Dawn was approaching. During the day, searching for evolution crystals would be very difficult, and after being busy all night, Fong Luo was also a bit tired. Diemu was looking a little listless now as well. Fong Luo planned to rest in the cold storage first. Today's gains had already been more than plentiful. 3 evolution crystals, over 100 zombie core crystals, and he had even found Lin Zijin. Diemu sat tiredly in the back seat sleeping, but Li Nana and the others were in the trunk, and a foul stench was still coming from them. Meow? Diemu complained a little. Why had Master let these people into the car too? All right, stop complaining. Fong Luo took out a piece of salmon from his space and handed it over. Salmon. Thank you, Brother Fong Luo. In the trunk, Li Nana thought Fong Luo was giving it to her and excitedly reached out to take the salmon. After several days of the apocalypse, Li Nana hadn't eaten anything decent at all, eating nothing but dry, hard bread every day. Food like salmon. Even in peaceful times, Li Nana had rarely eaten it. Beside her, the short girl and the glasses girl couldn't help swallowing, their faces full of envy. However, just as Li Nana was about to take it, A tabby cat snatched the salmon away in one bite. Before leaving, it even shot a disdainful glance at the dumbfounded Nana. What are you looking at? You think this was for you? Are you worthy? You damn cat. Having the salmon snatched away by Jianmu, and then being looked at like trash by it, Nana felt awful all over. She had already been angry because of Lin Zijin. This immediately made her fly into a rage, wanting to grab Jianmu to vent her anger. But who was Jianmu? She had just awakened an electric-type power and had instantly killed the imp zombie. Even Fong Luo, without using weapons, might not necessarily be able to beat her, let alone a useless vase like her. Jianmu always repaid grudges. Seeing Nana trying to grab her, she stretched out her claws and gave her a few swipes. Several clear claw marks immediately appeared on Nana's arm and chest. Nana cried out in pain, but still unwilling to give up, she stepped forward to grab Jianmu again. However, this time what greeted her was a stream of electricity. Bzzzt. The sound of crackling current rang out, and even Lin Zijin couldn't help but curiously turn her head when she saw black smoke coming out of Nana's mouth, and her hair blown up into a bird's nest. She was instantly startled. Besides her, the two short girls and the glasses girl beside her had also suffered the same fate. What happened to them? Lin Zijin looked at Fong Luo in shock. They're fine. Jianmu is just very hospitable and merely treated them to a session of electrotherapy. Fong Luo chuckled, inwardly praising Jianmu for a job well done and deciding on extra food tonight. This cat. Lin Zijin was a little slow to react, but being smart, she still roughly guessed something. It can release lightning? Fong Luo shrugged. There was nothing much to hide about this sort of thing. In a few days, everyone would know about powers anyway, so telling Lin Zijin in advance would also give her time to prepare mentally. In a few days, Fong Luo also planned to let her awaken her powers. Lin Zijin was somewhat shocked, but thinking of those Walking Dead zombies from before, she felt it wasn't that hard to accept. At the same time, she also realized that the current world was far from simple. They won't die, right? She asked worriedly. No. Fong Luo shook his head. Jianmu knows her limits, and knew Fong Luo didn't want to kill them yet, so she held back and didn't kill them, but she still made them suffer. After quite a while, Nana gradually came back to her senses, looking at Jianmu with extreme fear, keeping half a car seat's distance from her. This cat could actually discharge electricity. She had even been shocked into peeing out a few drops. Brother Fong Luo it is. Nana looked at Fong Luo pitifully. My pet. Nana was shaken. Fong Luo was actually this formidable. Having an armored vehicle and guns was one thing, but she hadn't expected him to also have a cat that could discharge electricity. She immediately became even more respectful toward Fong Luo. She didn't dare harbor the slightest resentment toward Jianmu either. In fact, the more ruthlessly Jianmu abused her, the happier she felt inside, because that meant Fong Luo was extremely powerful, and she herself would be safer. Once she became Fong Luo's woman, then she would be this cat's mistress too. Wouldn't that mean she could do whatever she wanted with it by her side? Thinking of this, Nana looked at Jianmu somewhat ingratiatingly. Greetings, sister cat. Fong Luo watched this scene and sneered inwardly. This woman really was cheap. The better you treated her, the more she looked down on you. On the contrary, the worse you treated her and the more you abused her, the more she worshipped you. Maybe she had some kind of special kink. Fong Luo drove all the way to the cold storage, and by then it was already 6 a.m. Brother Fong Luo. This is your home? When she saw that the home Fong Luo spoke of was just a warehouse, Nana frowned slightly. She had thought Fong Luo's home would be some kind of luxurious grand villa, with a private swimming pool, but she hadn't expected it to be such a shabby place. She couldn't help feeling a little disappointed. The same went for the two roommates beside her. Seeing that Fong Luo had an armored vehicle and guns, they had originally thought he was some important figure, but it turned out he lived in a warehouse. They wanted to leave because of this. But with zombies everywhere outside, leaving would only mean courting death, so they could only put up with it for now. We'll move somewhere better later. If Fong Luo knew what they were thinking, he would definitely sneer. A villa? At the current temperature of 65 degrees Celsius, even in a villa, with the air conditioning running at full blast, the indoor temperature would absolutely be no lower than 50 degrees Celsius. What's more, the whole city is without power now. Ordinary air conditioners had long since become useless. On top of that, with zombies around, ordinary walls, doors, and windows simply couldn't keep them out. In his previous life, weren't there plenty of rich people who hid in villas only to be flayed and dismembered by zombies in the end? By contrast, his cold storage facility. It looked ordinary on the outside, but it was equipped entirely with high-end refrigeration equipment and dozens of high-power generators. All the furniture inside was designer brand, and a professional security company had reinforced its defenses. Forget zombies. Even if Jiangshi came, it would be useless. What a short-sighted bunch. Lin Zijin beside them didn't say anything. She had originally come from a poor family and had even lived in thatched huts before, so to her, a warehouse was no different from a villa. Fong Luo ignored Li Nana and went over to open the door directly. In an instant, a blast of cold air under 15 degrees Celsius rushed out from inside the cold storage facility. Li Nana, who had still been complaining inwardly just a moment ago, froze on the spot. Over the past few days, global temperatures had risen, and Jiangxing's temperature had reached as high as 65 degrees Celsius. The reservoirs had almost been baked dry, and who knew how many people had died from the heat. These past few days in the dorm, she had never worn anything except underwear, yet she was still hot as hell. She had never even dared imagine such comfortable cool air. Li Nana couldn't help shivering. When they entered the cold storage facility, the dazzling array of furnishings and everything one could need appeared before the women, leaving them utterly dumbfounded. This is a custom Hermes sofa. Like Su Qingqing, Li Nana was also a gold digger who liked studying luxury goods, and when she saw Fong Luo's sofa, her mouth instantly fell open. She remembered that this sofa cost over 800,000, and the tea table, made of redwood, was worth at least several $100,000. The chandelier, the carpet, all of them were high-end designer brands. And the red wine they had drunk at a five-star hotel last time, worth tens of thousands, actually lined an entire wall. Li Nana estimated that these things were worth at least over 10 million. This is way too luxurious. Her legs were trembling with excitement. How is this a cold storage facility? This is practically paradise. Who would have thought that a warehouse with such an ordinary exterior would be so luxurious inside? I'm such an idiot. I almost left just now. I almost would have regretted it for the rest of my life. Li Nana became even more determined that she had to become Fong Luo's woman, to become the mistress of this place. Later, she'll snatch Fong Luo for herself. The short girl and the bespectacled girl were also excited, like Granny Lu entering the Grand View Garden, wishing they could look over every single thing. They had never seen so many high-end luxury goods before. They felt lucky to know Li Nana. Otherwise, where would they find such a comfortable place to stay? At the same time, they were also fantasizing that it would be wonderful if Fong Luo took a liking to them too. Brother Fong Luo, can I sit on it? Li Nana looked excitedly at the sofa worth over 800,000, wondering what it would feel like to sit on an 800,000 sofa. No,